The countdown is on for the 2025 season, but you've still got a couple really important drafts to go. We're going to fill you in with our last minute decisions, takes, how the injuries are going to affect you. Buckle up. It's time for Fantasy Whiplash. Hey, what is up today? Whiplash peoples, where you at? I am joined not by Colton. I am joined by the one, the only, the owner, operator, CEO, mastermind behind Yards Per Fantasy. You can find them at yardsperfantasy.com or on Twitter at yardsper. This is Alex Johnson. Alex, what is up, my man? It's good to be on air with you again.
What's going on, man? It's kind of weird being on this side of things. I'm usually the one hosting whenever we podcast together. I'm kind of looking forward to just sitting back and letting you kind of fumble through it like I usually do. And
yeah, that's almost my shtick at this point. Is that they're like, dude, you got to watch this show because the host screws something up every week.
Well, I happened to catch last week's where you started it and then you had to go back and start to get a new link. And
oh man, I had like another video playing its audio in my ear, and I didn't know if it was playing out there or what, but.
Well, I was kind of jamming to that intro music right here, though. It's kind of cool.
It is the jam, isn't it?
Kind of catchy, yeah.
It is. And what'd you think about our thumbnail today from the lovely Brittany Foxworth?
Yeah, some couple of good-looking dudes on that thumbnail.
Yeah, there are. And then we were there, too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we were on there, too.
Yeah. So Alex is not Colton today. But, if he really, really wanted to be, I don't know, he could be.
I know where this is going.
He could be Roxanne. You want to be Roxanne today?
Let's do it.
Would you like to be Joe Frick today?
I'll be whoever you want me to be.
Well, next time you're on, man, I swear to God, I might put Alex under my name too. So, as everybody knows, the season is barely over a week away. We've got all kinds of good draft stuff to talk about. I do want to start out with saying you can find Alex and I on Twitter/X. I am at one word buy and sell you. And Alex is at _Johnson FF. You can find us there, and you can find him obviously always putting out content on Yards Per Fantasy. What else you got going on right now, Alex?
Yeah, it's putting out articles, updating the rankings. I did my first wave of week 1 rankings, which is kind of mind blowing that we're at that point already.
Yeah,
those will post on Monday, but we're just killing it on YouTube right now. It's just posting YouTube videos. I've done a sleepers video. We've ranked handcuff running backs. You know how much I love handcuffs. We went through the worst pick in every round, and just today on the Yards Per Fantasy YouTube channel, I posted a video of the must draft rookies for redraft leagues. There's only 6 of them. Only 6 that are must draft. They're going to be the key to winning championships this year. So check that out.
Does that mean all the rest of them are must not drafts?
Not necessarily. I had a few honorable mentions at the end there.
I got you. It's also worth saying you have the projections template as well so that people can create like their own cheat sheets and whatnot as well, can't they?
That's right. My guy Matt Flowers, he is a killer behind the scenes at yardsperfantasy.com. He doesn't take credit for anything. You never see his face, nothing. But that dude is a workhorse. He creates the projections template every year. Somehow, some way, he finds a way to make it better year in, year out. It is perfect for, creators like ourselves who want to make, projections for the season, but it's also anybody who just wants to dip their toes in the projections game for the first time, doesn't know what they're doing. It's already set up, ready to go, how-to guide, video tutorial, everything. You can just jump in and start making your projections.
Yeah,
it's only $10.
It's huge too. The first time I looked at it, I was expecting it to be like 1 or 2 pages of like, put this guy's name here and what you think he's going to do. And it's way more scientific, but it's still really easy to navigate. So you can create your own cheat sheets before the draft. If you go to yardsperfantasy.com, you can actually purchase it for a pretty reasonable price. I mean, really.
I have been told 1,000,000 times that we are selling that for way too cheap. And as the person who's behind the scenes, I get to see the names of all the people who purchase. And there's some big names in our industry who use that projections template religiously year in, year out. I won't drop those names, but there's a few.
There you go. There you go. Straight from the horse's mouth. And also, I don't know if there's a chance to enter a promo code, put WHIP in. It might work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It will work.
It will work. See,
will work.
Man, I told you guys last week, you could put WHIP on like almost any website and it'll do something.
I don't remember what we set up for your promo, but it was like a couple dollars off, and then we donate a couple dollars as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, donate to Fantasy Cares. But it is inexpensive too for the product. So but anyway, we're not here to talk about yards per fantasy all day long. But I do want to mention one other thing about. I'll save that for later. Hey, look what Mike did. And you're
hero. The hero.
Man, I'll tell you what, that Mike, he is a miracle worker.
That's right.
Fantasy Nerd Boy, ladies and gentlemen. At Nerd Boy Takes on Twitter, the man, the myth, the legend of Dynasty Degens. As always, guys, I got to go through the usual YouTube stuff. Please do like this video. Even if you're watching right now, you can give it a like. And then, if you decide you didn't like it, you could take it off. But I'd rather you not. Please subscribe to the channel. And please tell all your friends. This show during the season is going to be a go-to for you. Every week on Tuesday, we're going to be going through injuries. We're going to be recapping what happened. We're going to be looking forward to this coming week's games, as well as dropping some waivers before you put your waiver requests in on Tuesday night. So you don't want to miss it. And we will probably move it up a half hour to 9 o'clock every Tuesday in season. So, with that said, why don't we just get down to some draft takes, Alex? What do you think?
Let's get to it. Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to start from the top. It's a piece of news I just saw. Chris Godwin is not on the PUP. He passed his physical and he's been listed as questionable, but they did not put him on the PUP to automatically miss the 4 games yet. I don't know if they still can between now and week 1. I think they can. But this is a complete surprise for me because I thought he was going to miss half the season. If you saw that injury last year, it was not good. So people have been fading him all draft, but now with his status up in the air, what are you thinking about the possibility of drafting Chris Godwin?
I'm just worried that his status on Sleeper has changed, and I can no longer keep him on my IR. Now, I don't know. I haven't seen. Oh, he has passed his physical. Okay. All right.
Yeah, but I mean, I pass a physical, and I'm not running around catching footballs.
Yeah, I have been operating all summer long as do not draft. I haven't touched him. I still am skeptical if we're going to see for October. He's been on that do not draft list, but it would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool. Even if he does come back and he plays in September, Emeka Egbuka, I think, has already kind of crowned himself the wide receiver 2 there.
Yeah. I think most of the fantasy community has as well. It's no slight to Godwin, but people are really, really excited about seeing Emeka Egbuka be a focal point of that offense.
Yeah, I've got him ranked up in the 5th round at this point.
Yeah. I posted something the other day about how I'm trying to leave every draft with Ricky Pearsall and Emeka Egbuka. But the problem is now, like their ADPs are like right. It's almost it's nearly impossible to get both of them.
Yeah.
So
I mean, just 2 weeks ago, you could draft Emeka Egbuka outside the top 100. And now he's 5th, 6th round. Which is where he should be. I'm not disagreeing.
And then he caught that touchdown, and everybody was like, "Wow!"
Well, I think people finally realized, oh shit, Chris Godwin really is in trouble here.
Right. Well, I mean, if you saw the injury last year, man, his foot was like hanging off his leg. I mean, they called it a dislocated ankle, but I'm like, dude, he's lucky he still has like a foot attached to his appendage. So
when they gave him that contract, though, that gave me a lot of confidence that he was going to be full go. Especially with how much the Patriots were throwing at him, reportedly. But I don't know if he had a setback. I think he had a second procedure. Just ever since like OTAs, the news on him just went down.
Yeah, it's he's probably worth drafting if you follow the ADP as he drops, as more people fade him. If you've got an IR spot where you could stash him if they do end up moving him to the PUP list or IR designated to return. He's worth having for the home stretch, I suppose. But let's move on to a couple other ones that are, I guess, injury related. As expected, Joe Mixon went on the PUP today or yesterday. He is guaranteed to miss the first 4 games, and they're still not really telling us the whole story. Because the other day in a presser, the head coach, who's that, Demeco, said, we've got plenty of running backs that can get us through the season. And I don't know if he was just giving a vote of confidence to his crew as though, well, even if Joe wasn't here, we'd be all right. Or if he was leaking a little bit that this might egg on for longer and longer and longer. I know a lot of people have completely dropped him off their draft boards. Have you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's not draftable. Not draftable. I mean, we've gotten like 0 news from him. It's just been like a secret for months on what this injury is, on this, like the severity of it, the timetable to return. We have no idea what's going to happen. You can't touch him.
Yeah, and they won't tell us anything. I mean, it took them this long to even admit that he was going to be on the pup, and we all
And that's
knew
only because they had to. At
Yeah,
this point, they had to make the transaction.
Yeah, and we knew it. We knew he wasn't going to play at the beginning of the season, but they were like, "Well, I don't know."
I was shocked with how long his ADP remained in like the 6th, 7th round area. It's only been the last couple of weeks where it's finally dropped.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know how people are drafting him.
yeah. Speaking of kind of being in the dark on it, Rashee Rice still has not come to an agreement with the NFL on how much time he will serve and when he will serve it. If you guys remember, originally they said he would start the season and then take his break later. And then they came back and said, well, then the NFL wanted to suspend him for 10 plus games. His camp said, no way. And so now they were trying to agree on a number of games, and then he probably would serve it at the beginning of the season. The biggest part of all this is if they don't come to an agreement, they got to go before a judge. Right. And then they're at the mercy of the timeline. So, if the judge says, I'll see you on December 15th, she could suspend him for the rest of the season. You know what I mean? And Kansas City doesn't want that to happen. And you don't want that to happen in your fantasy playoffs either. So how are you approaching this? He's too talented to just say he's undraftable.
I haven't been drafting him very much since this news came out. I was drafting him quite a bit before then. I have him ranked right now, like right about his ADP. I got him ranked 60th overall. It's just ideally we just get the news like right now he's suspended for the first X amount of weeks of the season. Let's just get it over with, and then we get him for the second half, and we can kind of ride him to our fantasy playoffs, fantasy championship. But like you said, if this comes down to a mid-season decision and he's out for the fantasy playoffs, it's just going to completely wreck so many seasons and just raises that risk so much more.
Yeah, I think if he starts the season playing, I think that's actually a bad sign.
Yeah.
Because it means you're going to have to prepare for the loss of him later on.
And then what is it? Are we going to get 10 games? Are we going to get 8 games? Are we going to get 6 games? Is it 5 games? Who knows?
Yeah, I'm guessing 6 is probably going to be the number.
And then you mix the bye week in there?
Huh?
You mix their bye week in there as well? That's another week that we're without Rashee Rice?
I don't think that counts. I think it's missed games.
No. It's missed games, but that's another week on top of it. You add the suspension plus the bye week. That's another week.
Of course. Yeah, I have been this is probably a really bad idea. I have not cut back on my drafting Rashee Rice for a couple of reasons. Number one, I know how the NFL operates, and I've seen this happen before, where they push this so far out that he actually doesn't even go before the judge until after the season's over. And then it was all much ado about nothing because you had him for the whole year. I don't think that happens, but it's possible. But in the leagues where I have been still drafting him, man, in like the last round, I'm taking a flyer on Jalen Royals in every single league. Just because I don't think OBJ is going to be the guy. You know what I mean? He just doesn't have it. And they were already pumped about Royals to begin with and likened him to Rashee Rice. Is that somebody you've looked at?
Jalen Royals?
Yeah.
I haven't touched him in redraft or best ball leagues this year. I did like him during the draft process. And obviously it's a good landing spot, good quarterback, good offense. I haven't heard a ton of hype reports from him during training camp. Yeah, I haven't really touched him. I don't know. Like, he is definitely a really good candidate, just the way he plays, his style of play and that makes him an excellent candidate to play in that Rashee Rice role. I don't think that he would just be plugged right into that, though. We're going to see Travis Kelce get more targets like what happened with Rice went out last year. And I think we're going to see a lot more Xavier Worthy. I think the answer here is drafting Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy, I think,
Travis
is obviously going to be the number one in the offense when Rashee is not around. I look for Jalen Royals to have a role either because Rashee's suspended or because Hollywood Brown's feet hurt. Which they we both know they always do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, the guy's got ridiculous. He's got like sub 4.4 speed. And all I heard, the only camp hype I heard is that in their first like mini camp, you know what I mean? Like voluntary.
Like rookie camp, and there's only rookies though.
What's that?
Like rookie mini camp?
Yes.
When there's only rookies?
Well, maybe. I don't remember. But they asked Andy Reid about him, and Andy Reid said he can do all the things Rashee Rice could do.
Yeah.
And he wasn't saying that to prep for a suspension. He was just saying it matter-of-factly, like, could you imagine if we had two Rashee Rices on the field? So I don't know. That was enough for me. I'm like, every best ball league, like... It's like him and Woody Marks back to back at the end of every single best ball league I'm in.
Woody Marks, I can get there on for sure. Yeah. Woody Marks. I know we kind of skipped over him when we talked about Joe Mixon, but Woody Marks, spoiler alert, he is this year's Bucky Irving.
Yeah. He's so shifty too. Woody Marks should absolutely, his ADP's been rising as the fantasy community keeps talking him up, and nobody really knows what's going to happen. I predict they're going to get Chubb out there and realize the same thing that Cleveland realized is he just doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
He could be a goal line back, sure. But are they going to let Pierce have another shot? Dameon Pierce?
He had that one big game last year.
Yeah, he did.
But he's missed most of the summer.
He's got talent. You know what I mean? Well, we saw it his first year, or his first year in Houston.
But I think even if Nick Chubb and or Dameon Pierce are getting that early down action, Woody Marks can still have receiving game upside. Got 250 passes in college, 261.
I would a loophole I would encourage a lot of people to look into before their draft, if they haven't drafted yet, is to find out, and don't ask the commissioner because he'll change it, but see if there's a way you can find out if suspended players are allowed on your IR. Because if they are, you would be snatching up like Rashee Rice, Jordan Addison before anybody grabs him, so on and so forth. Speaking of Jordan, so he's out for the first 3 games. We know that. Now Jalen Naylor hurt his hand, and he's another one. They're not really telling us exactly what's wrong. They were like, we're playing it by ear. So, does that mean they're just going to go even heavier onto the run game with Jones and Mason? Or do you think that it means that Ty Felton, who runs a 4.32, has a shot as a rookie to really show out for a couple games?
Yeah, I like Ty Felton. I liked him coming in through the draft process. I have not super confident that he's going to carve out a major role in this offense. What I think is going to happen is we're going to get an Adam Thielen reunion. They're going to trade for Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
Bring him back. He'd be perfect. Slide him right into that offense. Be that wide receiver 2 while Jordan Addison's out. Be the wide receiver 3 when Addison comes back. But like you said, I think in the meantime, even with the rookie quarterback, they're going to try to, feed Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason. That's kind of how they're going to make up for it.
Yeah, I mean, now that they've got that two-headed monster, and Aaron Jones is such a fantastic pass catcher.
Yeah, he's a receiver weapon.
That they really, I mean, honestly, they could run an entire drive just on those two, on the backs of those two guys.
Yeah.
So I'm still drafting Jordan Addison at his ADP. 3 games means nothing to me.
Yeah.
The seasons always start weird. And I am the last person to panic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 3 games it's fine. I'm not worried about 3 games. I still have him ranked 70th overall. I've knocked him down a little bit, wide receiver 38. But still right in that 6th, 7th round range between Jacoby Myers, Josh Downs. I wanted to take him right in there.
Yeah, and Addison he's replaceable for those 3 games. It's not like you're losing Justin Jefferson.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can find somebody comparable to Addison in the draft and get both of them.
I mean, even if Addison was out there, we need a few weeks for JJ McCarthy to get his feet wet and get used to the NFL game anyway. So
yeah, exactly. So that'll be interesting to see how they handle that. I do think they'll lean on the run in a big way. Because it's got to be Ty Felton if it's anybody, because it's not going to be Lucky Johnson. I said it's got to be Ty Felton either way, because it's not going to be Lucky Johnson or Thayer Thomas.
Yeah.
Who are the next? And Justin Jefferson's banged up right now too. So
yeah.
I mean, man, they're like the walking wounded over there. But they're all pretty minor injuries. Let's move on to a couple camp battles that I think are making us reconsider how we're drafting here a little bit. There's been a lot of ADP movement in some of these players. So I want to start with one that everybody tends to get excited about, and that's TreVeyon Henderson. I think from the beginning, like during rookie drafts, people overreacted a little bit. Said this guy's just going to walk in and take that job from Ramondre. And I was one of the ones saying, I don't think so. Like, I think it's going to be Ramondre between the 20s at the very least. And probably get more touches than TreVeyon. This preseason, TreVeyon's got 5 carries for 38 yards, 7.6 average, and a touchdown, and then that magnificent multi-angle 100-yard return for a touchdown, which was just wild, man. Ramondre, for his part, hasn't done too bad. 7 for 35. I don't think he's dropped the ball. So that's pretty good. But TreVeyon is going at pick late in the 4th. And Ramondre is going in the middle of the 11th. Do you think those should be closer together?
Not necessarily. How
do you see it playing out then?
Yeah, well, I have Henderson ranked as my RB19. I got him in like the early 5th round. And I got Ramondre in the 12th round. I do think, especially early in the season, Ramondre is still going to be that hammer, between the tackles, between the 20s, at the goal line, be that first, second down guy. But we're going to get the valuable touches are going to go to TreVeyon Henderson. He's going to get the explosive runs. He's going to get all the receiving work. He's a weapon. He's a weapon in the receiving game. He showed it in preseason. He showed it in some of the camp practices where they met with other teams. He made some big plays in the receiving game against the Vikings defense. He's going to be that explosive playmaker. I think, it's kind of cliche to say it, but I think it's true. This is going to be the Patriots version of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, to a lesser extent, because it's not the same offense. We're not going to get that same level of production, but this is going to be, the baby version of it. I like Henderson. I can't quite get him to like the third round where people are drafting him right now, because I do think, Ramondre is going to be that annoying thorn in the side. He's not going to go away. He's going to get those touchdowns. But
do you think the first time he fumbles, he's going to lose that job?
Ramondre?
Yeah, like if it's in a serious situation, like let's say he fumbles on the goal line in week 3, they have a chance to win. I mean, is he just done at that point? Are they like, no?
Well, I would say we got a whole brand new coaching staff here, so I think he's got a blank slate compared to last year. I don't think they're going to hold last year against him. But yeah, I mean, you've got a competent running back behind him in TreVeyon Henderson, and you've got Antonio Gibson's there as well, who can kind of do the same things.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you. I think Ramondre is going to be the hammer, and if Henderson continues the way he played in college and in the preseason with that explosive nature, then he will eventually take that job away. But at the same time, if the Patriots don't start winning games, they might not want to waste TreVeyon. They might utilize him a little less frequently and run Ramondre into the ground for one more year, and then just make the switch for 26.
They could, but I think they're gonna win some games. I think they're gonna win some games.
I think they are too. I'm really excited for Drake May this year. Here's another one. We'll stick with the running backs. Najee Harris is not going on the PUP. You'll remember he had a bit of a fireworks mishap, but apparently he can see clearly now. The rain is gone. But he didn't play in the preseason. Thank you. You like that?
I like that. That was good.
He didn't play in the preseason. Amarian Hampton was he only played sparingly. He had 4 carries for 21 yards, no catches. Once again, I think like with Ramondre and TreVeyon, I think both of these guys are draftable. But the question is, I guess the big question is, like, can anybody get inside Harbaugh's brain and find out what he's thinking? Because he's got a plan.
I really hope his plan is to run Amarian Hampton. Which I think it will be, because Najee Harris, he hasn't been there all summer. He's missed training camp. I think the original plan was, Najee Harris was going to begin the season as, top of the depth chart. We get, kind of a 1A, 1B situation with Amarian Hampton worked in. Over the course of the season, Amarian Hampton would take over. We kind of expedited to that point with the Najee Harris eye injury. And I think we're going to go right into the season, bell cow roll, Amarian Hampton. Because I don't think Najee Harris is ready. He hasn't been practicing. He hasn't been out there.
I think Najee Harris might be the most inexpensive 4 straight 1,000-yard rusher, never missed a game, that anybody's ever signed in free agency.
Yeah.
Because they got him on the cheap. So consequently, they also don't feel like, well, we just bought this new toy. We have to play
Right.
with it a little bit.
Right.
They don't necessarily have to. It's just a
It's-
question of, is one of them better at pass protection? So going to see the ball a little more in third down situations, passing situations. Although if Harbaugh had his way, Justin Herbert would never throw the ball. That's not exactly true, but you know how Harbaugh loves to run.
Yeah, I mean, these Chargers, this offense, they don't usually utilize the running backs that much in the passing game anyway. So I'm not all that concerned about that. But I think I love Hampton, man. I've been drafting right that 2-3 turn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's people liked to debate before the draft whether Hampton was actually the better prospect than Genty. And they had a reasonable argument if you look up and down the competition and stuff like that. I'm
Yeah,
not saying Genty had an easy road, but it was easier. But to put it in perspective, Najee is coming off the board in the 14th round. Of course, that's with all the questions about whether he's going to be available or not. He's coming off the board in 14th round, which even for a handcuff is a fairly good deal. So that's, but I mean, it's late in the draft. You know what I mean? I mean, you got to have a pretty, if you've got a five bench limit, then you're drafting him late as just a depth piece, and that's pretty easy to take a flyer on. Amarian Hampton, on the other hand, is coming off as RB12. So he's coming off right at the beginning of the third. I've seen him go halfway through the second.
yeah.
I saw him go before Bucky Irving today.
I wouldn't argue against it. I've got him ranked RB8.
Wow.
I'm in, baby. I am in.
You heard it. You heard it. He's in. And if we have time at the end of the show, we're going to talk about some more guys that Alex is in on.
Oh, no.
But before we get that far, I think we're at about the halfway point. So I do want to give a little plug for FastDraft, which is the new best ball platform run by PlayerProfiler and Roto Underworld. FastDraft, if you haven't played it yet, what are you doing? Because pretty much everybody is getting on this thing. And you've only got about a week and a half left before you can enter the season-long tournaments. There's a rookies only draft where you start 4 rookies every week. You just draft 6 and 4 of them will start every week, and it's best ball, so it does all that for you. There's a full-sized draft called the Rabbit, which you draft an entire team, but the clock is like 20 seconds. You get in and out and draft in like 5 minutes, an entire team with your opponents.
Yeah.
It's quick. You can do it while you're sitting there waiting for the bus. My favorite is the Flex 4, which is like the rookie draft, but you draft 6 dudes, any position you want, and the top 4 scorers of those 6 every week are your starters. So the Flex 4, by the way, is 70% full right now. So it's going to max out in the next probably 5 or 6 days. But yeah, the Flex 4, I noticed you've been playing on it a little bit, haven't you, Alex?
I sure have. My favorite game.
Look at him. Look at him.
I don't want to discourage anyone from trying out FastDraft, but spoiler alert, I am going to win this tournament.
I'm going to win all the tournaments. And you know what? There are some that have that have multiple payouts for different things. Yeah, I had a friend that tried it last year when it was just first starting out, did a couple drafts, and at the end of the season, got a check for $800 in the mail.
There you go.
Like, didn't win the $10,000 tournament, but did well enough that, you know, made a couple bucks off the deal. So, all right.
Let me read you out this Flex 14 real quick. Let me see what you think. I got Jahmyr Gibbs, Drake London, Amari Hampton, Kenneth Walker, James Conner, Calvin Ridley. Tell me that's not going to win this thing.
That's not going to win this one. Because I am in that one too.
Damn it.
But I can't tell you who I have because I can't remember. All right. You know what? Enough about my jibber jabbering. Let's let the Podfather tell you about the Rabbit. That's the full-sized best ball draft.
You asked, we delivered a full best ball tournament on FastDraft, but we do it the FastDraft way, and it's called the Rabbit because of course it is. 20-second time clock, 15 rounds. These drafts, they take 20 minutes. That's it. So you get a lot of new people coming in and playing, get a lot of best ball bros playing, exploitable ADPs, no rake. It is the best EV in all of fantasy. You should just go to fastdraft.app, use code FAST. You get a $50 deposit match. These things are a blast, and it's the best use of your funds in all of fantasy.
Straight from the horse's mouth. And he's not lying. It's fun, man. It's fun. Mm-hmm. And not only that, almost every draft you get into, there's like one or two or three other industry people in your draft. Like from all the different websites, everybody's doing it. You know what I mean? There's guys from Dynasty Nerds. There's guys from, Dynasty Trade Calculator. There's guys from, I mean, all over the place. You know what I mean? So that's always a lot of fun. And you can use promo code FAST, but I would encourage you to use promo code WHIP because it works everywhere. WHIP, that will get your money matched up to $100 the first time you deposit. You want to do 20, we'll match you 20. You want to do 50, we'll match you 50. You want to do 100, $100. So there you have it. All right, enough plugging away. You guys didn't come for commercials. So let's get back to it. We'll do this a little more quick strike, I think. Although if we need to divulge, we will. Kendre Miller is the RB2 right now in New Orleans. Is that dream still alive, Alex?
I'm not feeling it. I don't know. I think that one's dead. That's a dead dream. It's a dead dream.
You think that's a dead dream? Do you think Devin Neal is the guy then? As number 2?
Not necessarily. I mean, he's hurt, isn't he? Or he was hurt.
I don't know.
If you're not Alvin Kamara level talent, you're not going to have much production in that offense this season.
Right. Yeah, I tend to think that even if Kendre shows, hey, I can stay healthy, hey, I am that guy you thought I was, I think the rest of the offense will drag him down and not give him the opportunity. So it's going to look like he's failing when they're failing as a unit.
What is that offense if Alvin Kamara goes down? It's already going to be pathetic with him. Right, exactly.
Oh, what a disaster. Man, how many games New Orleans going to win this year?
Is it possible to win negative games?
No, it is not.
Well, then we'll put it at 0.
0 wins. You calling it now?
0.
I'm going to say 1. They'll sneak up and bite like Carolina at some point.
I mean,
Somebody they couldn't beat, but they will. I don't know. Maybe Rattler turn into Superman. You know what? It'll be Schuff's first game.
yeah, I had hope that he was going to come in and maybe be at least, competent, but he can't even beat out Spencer Rattler. It's over. It's over already. It's over already for Tyler Shock. It's over. It's done.
Okay, so I have a theory about that.
Okay.
And I was going to talk about, well, we still will. So I'll get to it when we get down there. Let me ask you this. If we're going to talk about dreams, I think you know where I'm going with this.
I do.
Is the Ray Davis dream still alive? For those of you that aren't aware, Alex likes Ray Davis more than his mother.
Yeah. The dream is still alive if we're talking about Ray Davis's dream to become a kicker. Did you see how good he kicked that field goal?
He did, and he was
nailed that thing. Backup kicker.
He was pumped, man.
But in all seriousness,
so what do you think? I mean, I honestly didn't think Buffalo was going to extend James Cook.
I didn't either.
I thought they were going to give him the double birds and be like, dude, you can't demand this much money.
Well, he didn't get it. He got what?
No,
11.
I know,
he got $11.5 million a year. I think that's much more reasonable. And I think they were in a spot where they are contenders, win right now. This is not about, he's our running back of the future. We just got to get this deal done. We got to get him into camp. We got to get him on the team for this season. We're trying to win right now. We'll figure out the rest of the shit later. I think that was kind of the situation here for James Cook. But if we're dreaming about Ray Davis, maybe being the RB1 down the line, that's probably dead. But if we're dreaming about Ray Davis as an elite handcuff running back in fantasy football, and, we have enough conversations where how how much I love handcuff running backs, value handcuff running backs in fantasy football.
You do love yourself some handcuff running backs.
That dream is very, very much alive. Ray Davis, top 5 running back as far as handcuffs in fantasy football right now. And he proved it last year. He's a high-end handcuff. Ton of upside if he's thrust into that starting job. We saw it last year. James Cook, when he was out, inactive, week 6 against the Jets. Ray Davis went over 150 total yards, 20 carries, 18 fantasy points. And then he also was the RB22 at one point, RB14, RB19. And he did that alongside James Cook. I think he would be a must start in fantasy football if anything were to happen to James Cook. He would slide right into that James Cook role. I think we'll still see Ty Johnson, maintaining his passing downs role, which he still does, whether James Cook is there or not. So I'm not worried about that. Ray Davis would slide right in. He'd be that week winner for you, and maybe a league winner if it was a extended injury for James Cook.
Yeah, if there's an injury for James Cook, man, anybody, and I think Ray Davis is often being drafted in redraft, not just as a handcuff, but as kind of a stash for that reason, because they think he's going to get a reasonable number of carries. That it could be a plug-in flex play when you desperately need somebody.
Yeah, he did that a few times last year.
But if he's on waivers and James Cook goes down, my God, there's going to be a mad rush. And if you have fab in the league, people are going to be throwing around dollars like they're buying Boardwalk.
That's why we got to keep them stashed.
Yeah, that's right. You have to keep them stashed. That's the Ray Davis slot on your roster. Here's one of my favorites. We're talking a lot about running backs today. One of my favorites is Ollie Gordon. Looks like he is getting his shot more sooner than later. A chain is already a little scuffed up. Frankly, I'm surprised he made it through last season pretty much unscathed. But now it comes out that Jalen Wright has got what is it, bum shoulder, and he's going to miss quote unquote some time. And they're saying week 1, probably not. He's probably not going to be there. Ollie Gordon, I've been a fan of for years. You're talking about a guy that was a Heisman hopeful, was just dominating the college game. And then just it kind of sloughed off at the end there. And his draft position in the NFL just tanked. I think they drafted him in the 6th round, which is like a steal, I think, for anybody that was talked about as being a Heisman contender at some point.
He was 7th in the Heisman voting 2 years ago.
Yeah. It's also really interesting that he went from an ADP of does not register. You know what I mean? It was like outside of best ball. And he is now up to the 15th round of drafts. That means he rose 46 points in just under 2 weeks. So, we talk about guys like Woody Marks and Bill Merritt and all the hype they're getting. And like Ollie's getting some serious, like people are turning their heads and looking at him now because he's got an opportunity. And with the right opportunity, I think he can really capitalize on it. Is that somebody that you would target as a late round flyer or stash?
He's a handcuff. Of course I would target him. But yeah, no, he's kind of gone through, like, it's almost been like a little video game for Ollie Gordon. He's knocked off Alexander Madison up the level. He knocked off Jalen Wright up the level, and now he's on the verge of knocking off Devon Achane with his little calf injury, and all of a sudden he's going to be number 1 on the depth chart.
Yeah, and I mean, I still have faith in Jalen Wright. He's the guy is a bowling ball. They just need to find the right situation to use him and use him enough that he can get going. This whole like one carry every other drive is not going to do it. That's like in baseball when you have a guy who only like pinch hits once every 5 games. Like, how are you supposed to find any kind of rhythm whatsoever? I still maintain to this day that Jalen Wright, well, my initial thing was that Jalen Wright would eventually have that job and Achane couldn't stay healthy enough to keep it. Now I'm starting to think that the first person off that team is going to be Achane, and you're going to be left with like a Jalen Wright, Ollie Gordon combo down there, which doesn't sound too half bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to lose confidence. I was a big Jalen Wright guy all last year, even coming into this year. I made a video talking about guys I'm not ready to give up on in Dynasty, and Jalen Wright was top of the list. He's on the thumbnail. And now, I don't know, man. It wasn't looking good in training camp. Wasn't looking good in preseason. Just negative report after negative report after negative report about Jalen Wright. I feel like he's an athlete back there. He's not a running back.
Well, you got
RIP.
I mean, maybe it'll take when Mike McDaniel eventually loses his job at the end of this season. Maybe the new guy will really like Jalen Wright.
Well, the thing that I loved so much about Jalen Wright when he landed with the Dolphins is I figured he was That was the perfect spot for him. Put him in that style of offense, put him in that Mike McDaniel offense, put him in the Kyle Shanahan offense, and he would thrive. And he has not thrived.
He is not
at all.
thriven.
He is not.
He is not thriven at all.
Not at all. I think it was 1.5 yards per carry in the preseason. I know that's,
right.
Take that with a grain of salt, but just another data point.
Well, regardless, I will say now that Ollie Gordon is one of my guys.
Right.
I am pulling for him this year, and I think he's got a future in the league regardless of what happens this year, even if he, actually relegates back to number 3 on the depth chart if they keep Wright at number 2 when he's healthy. I still think Ollie Gordon's got a future in this league. I think he's a must-have in dynasty, and I think he does have a shot to make an impact in 25.
Yeah, his profile is a lot safer to bet on than the Jalen Wright profile, so I agree. I think he'll be around.
Do you pick one, Ollie Gordon or Bill Krosky-Merritt?
Well, we got to go Bill, right? We got to go Bill.
I don't know. Do we?
We got to this point. I think we do, just because the opportunity is right there in a good offense. Now, I know I don't think you're the biggest fan, but
Bill Krosky-Merritt?
I'm kind of with you. I was on the train when he was, an 18th rounder. Now that he's a 6th rounder, I've hopped off big time. I hopped off that thing once we got to the single digits, even after the trade. This is going to be the Austin Eckler backfield. Hello, it's the Austin Eckler backfield. He's going to be the ones getting the most touches. He's going to lead the team as far as the backfield and receptions. At the goal line, Dan Quinn already said it's going to be Chris Rodriguez at the goal line. So where does that leave Bill?
Yeah.
And they're still going to factor in Jeremy McNichols.
Yeah. I mean, Eckler's not going to cede any passing work. I still think Rodriguez might end up being the starter.
He might be, yes. We have no idea.
And not just the goal line back, but I don't know. It's just interesting to see. It's interesting to talk about because that offense is so explosive that you want a piece of it.
You got to bet on somebody, yeah.
So whoever it turns out being, you want an in to the Washington offense. And if you didn't get any of the really, really big names, then go for what you got to go for. And that's one reason I could rationalize drafting Bill Merritt maybe earlier than I think he should be drafted.
He was fun as a sleeper, and now he's not a sleeper anymore. He's not so fun. But if you were to take cost away, if they all had
talented,
he's over. The talent is overrated big time for sure. But
he doesn't catch any balls.
Seven. He caught 7 passes in college. Seven.
Huh?
He caught 7 passes in college.
Did he?
7. But yeah, if you put all those running backs in Washington just say they all cost the exact same, is at that point I can say we can make a bet on Bill. But when you're having to pay multiple rounds more than even Austin Eckler, it doesn't make any sense.
That's like the ultimate.
The appeal is gone.
That's like the ultimate gamble, is like paying that much more for something you have no idea what the outcome is going to be.
He's going in the same range now as Isaiah Pacheco and Aaron Jones and Tony Pollard.
That's absolutely irresponsible.
No. Yeah, I agree. The hype is out of control.
All right. All right. We're getting close to up to it. You got anywhere to be?
I got nowhere to be. Let's run this thing as long as you want.
All right. We'll go for another 15 minutes, maybe. Fill in the blank for me. you feel blank about the possibility of a Rome Odunze gigantic leap this season. He's going in the 6th round of fantasy drafts. How do you think he's going to perform? And I'm asking Alex this because Rome Odunze is one of his guys.
Yeah, how I feel is aroused. This is it. This is time. It's the year, man. Rome Odunze, I know last year was a little disappointing, but he did nothing to make me think that he's anything less than what we thought he was coming out of Washington last year. He's still disappointing season, bad quarterback play at times, still managed to lead that team in targets and receiving yards on 4 different occasions throughout the year. He had over 100 targets, over 50 receptions. He was top 12 in deep targets, top 12 in red zone targets. It's just the quarterback play was pretty bad. He was 3rd in unrealized air yards, and he had the highest rate of inaccurate targets among players with at least 50 targets. The target accuracy was just so horrible. The quarterback play was not good. They were just running him down the field, these low percentage passes. Nobody could protect Caleb Williams. He was just dropping back and just chucking it down to Rome Odunze. And of course, those aren't going to connect. Now I think Ben Johnson's going to come in. He's going to rein in some of the wildness of Caleb Williams, work some more of that high percentage stuff into the offense, and that's going to allow a higher catch rate for Rome Odunze. Some of those passes to actually connect for Rome Odunze. He'll still be the downfield guy. He'll still be the guy in the red zone, but I think we're going to get a much higher catch rate. He's going to have an opportunity to catch and run. He's got some yards after the catch ability. Nobody talks about that. He's a big body outside playmaker down the field. This guy, he can make some plays after the catch as well. So I'm hoping they're going to start to incorporate some of that into his playbook, into his arsenal as well. I am so ready for the Rome Odunze breakout. Now, I'm a little concerned that offense is going to get off to a slow start. It sounds like they're having a little bit of an adjustment period here, moving on from the Mickey Mouse offense to a real big boy offense that Ben Johnson is bringing. So it's going to take some time to mesh that together. I think, we might not see that Bears offense running on, full cylinders until like week 6 or so. But at some point, we're going to get full wheels up for Rome Odunze, and I'm going to be fully aroused and ready for it.
I get tired of and it's nobody's fault. People just, it's what's easy to do is to compare something that's already happened. So everybody wants to say, well, the Bears offense is now going to be the Lions offense. You know what I mean? And that backfield's going to operate the same way and all this. It's not. You just have to trust that Ben Johnson just knows what he's doing with his personnel.
You mean you're not in on the narrative that Olamide Zaccheaus is going to be this year's Amon-Ra St. Brown?
No. In fact, what I was leading up to was saying that Rome Odunze seems like the damn closest thing to Amon St. Brown in that room. I mean, I would think that Ben Johnson's looking at him going, oh, what I could do with this guy. Because we saw how talented, and once again, in the draft process, there were plenty of people that wanted to say, Marvin Harrison Jr. is really, really good. I think Odunze might be better. You know what I mean? And other people were like, what? So it's going to be interesting to see him break out and how the dynamic works, because I'm a Luther Burden fan too. So I'm actually at the point now where I'm wondering, where DJ Moore is going to fit in the offense, because I don't think he can run the same routes that he has been. I see him doing a lot more over the middle, shallow, as opposed to up and post. But but that's just me, thinking out loud. That's not to say DJ Moore isn't a great receiver. He certainly is.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people saying that there's too many mouths in the offense. And that's one of the things people say that really drives me nuts. There's never too many mouths if you bake a big enough pie. Right?
To an extent. I think you're going to have to wait a year for your Luther Burden shares to pay off.
Well, I'm not saying he's going to blow up. I'm just saying I'm a fan. So he's going to be, let's say he can do what Keenan Allen did last year and go 77 catches for 700 yards and 7 touchdowns. It could happen. You know what I mean? And meanwhile, Odunze and DJ Moore both do better than they did last year because the offense is humming. You know what I mean? There's not too many mouths in Washington. Well, I don't think there is.
In Washington, there's 2 mouths. Of course, there's not too many. You got 2.
Well, no, but I'm saying between, Ertz had a great season last year.
Yeah.
You've got McLaurin. Now you've added Debo. You've got Eckler out of the backfield. You've got another running back, whoever it is. And then you've got a quarterback who runs like crazy and can hurl the ball. So they put up a lot of points last year, way more than the Bears.
Yeah. Well, if to be fair, if there was a team that did have too many mouths, it would probably be the Bears.
That's true. That's
we haven't even mentioned the name Colson Loveland or Cole Kmet or DeAndre Swift catching the ball in the backfield.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. All right. That's enough about Odunze, unfortunately for you. I'll do some quick hitters here real quick. Terry McLaurin got paid. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get annoyed with the trend now. One receiver held out for money before his contract was over, and now all receivers hold out for money before their contract is over and demand trades. And we all know they don't actually want to be traded. They just want to be paid.
Good for them. They should get paid. I'm all for it. Get your money. Get your
what's
money.
that?
I said I'm all for it. Go get your money.
Well, a contract is a contract. Why are there even contracts anymore? There should just be 1-year deals and just rotate every year.
Yeah,
different team wins the Super Bowl every year.
Okay, but if I sign a contract, at my job, and I'm greatly outperforming it, and now I'm severely underpaid, I'm gonna want to get a raise.
Well, you can request a raise, but you can't request for the next 3 years. You pay me $33 million a year.
Hell yeah, I can.
A raise for these guys is a lot of money. Trey Henderson. Okay,
these teams are making billions of dollars.
I'm not even going to talk about Trey Hendrickson because it's not fantasy related. Well, you know what I do like? I do like in Las Vegas, Jacoby Myers tried it. He was like, dude, I'm not happy with my money. I want to trade. And then an hour later, they signed Amari Cooper.
I did hear one thing that got misconstrued, and maybe that report was completely wrong, but I heard that a team inquired about trading for Jacoby Myers, and somehow that report got twisted into Jacoby Myers asked for a trade. I don't know which side of that is true. Either way, I think Jacoby Myers, for our purposes, is best to be where he is right now and not being traded and starting fresh with a new team. He's got it perfect. He's the wide receiver one, not the number one target, but the wide receiver one in that offense. And he's just going to be that steady guy that nobody wants to touch in fantasy football, but he's scoring as a top 24 wide receiver every single week.
Well, I think that inquiry came after that news broke, because if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw that they inquired about him, but they wanted the Raiders to keep most of his salary.
Yeah.
And you don't just call somebody up and be like, hey, that guy you have that you really like, we want him, but we want you to pay him.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't really work that way. So, here's one that I think is interesting. I want to hear what you have to say on it. Michael Penix is coming off the board in the 12th or 13th round in redraft and best ball. He is listed as quarterback 21 overall. ADP 142.4. Is that right?
I think it's right about there. I've got him ranked QB 22, 158 overall, which would be about the 14th round. So I'm slightly behind, but I'm in that same vicinity.
So do you think then that the only real worthy pass catching threat on that offense is Drake London? Or do you think that Penix can elevate the other guys?
No, I think Drake London has as high of a ceiling as anybody. I think you could get top 3 production from him. But no, I think, if we can at some point get a healthy Darnell Mooney, I think he can be, top 36 wide receiver for us. I think there's still life for Kyle Pitts to be at least usable, be a tight end 2 in fantasy. I think we can get some weeks from Ray McLeod. I like Penix. I think in the area that he's being drafted, he's probably got about as high a ceiling as any of the guys going around him. Because he's got the weapons, he's got the big arm, he can run a little bit. I think that can be a really good offense if everything hits. But it's just there's so many quality quarterbacks this year that you can draft in that QB2 range that it's just hard to get him ahead of, I can't push him ahead of Trevor Lawrence at this point. Even though I'm not a big Trevor Lawrence fan, I can't push him ahead of him with BTJ, and we got Travis Hunter, and he's got some other weapons in that offense. New actual modern coaching staff. So that's my problem with Penix is I like Penix, but I like the guys around him as well.
Yeah. I mean, you said Mooney's coming off the board in the 9th round. Kyle Pitts is coming off the board in the 12th. Those could end up being really good values because they've got they still have enough of a ceiling that if they get some really good quarterback play, or if Kyle Pitts figures out what he's doing. And this is coming from somebody who's he was my favorite player for a long time. But and I still think he can do something. I'm going to be that guy that says, this is the year.
See, I've been the opposite. I've never been a Kyle Pitts guy. I've always been the fade Kyle Pitts, fade Kyle Pitts, fade Kyle Pitts. But I think, I've drafted him more this year than I've ever drafted him before.
I didn't draft him at all.
I'm recording a video this week for week 1 and talking about matchups and stuff. And I'm gonna talk about Kyle Pitts as a boom bust type of player for week 1. He's got a fantastic matchup. I think he can have a big week. I think there's still something there.
Okay, I boom bust I can take. I thought you
Yeah.
were gonna say that you were like endorsing him in week
No.
1, like, yes, let's go. And I was like, don't jinx him like on the first game of the season.
Well, if we do a sleeper show, I got a bold prediction that may involve Kyle Pitts for week 1. It's already queued up.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, speaking of Trevor Lawrence, since you brought it up, I just wanted to make a comment. And you're welcome to jump in if you like. I don't know if you play as much best ball as I do, but I do a bunch of these charity tournaments and stuff that go on every year in our industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I have found I am a notorious hater of stacking players. I hate it. It makes me so mad. I will die on the hill. I will argue with people all day long why you should not do it. But I understand that in best ball, it's to your advantage.
Yeah.
Because you're not locked in to those players. I'm saying when you're like, oh, well, I've got Purdy and Kittle and Pearsall in my redraft league. I'm like, that sucks. That's bad. You don't want that. I mean, if they get shut out, you're toast. But anyway, I digress. There's 2 teams that are best ball absolute home runs for stacking. One is the Falcons, like we were just talking about. You can get like everybody on that team. You know what I mean? Like nobody's close together and nobody will even realize you're stacking them because they're so far apart in in the draft rankings. And then the other one, which is actually really, really nice, and I've done it several times, Trevor Lawrence, BTJ, Travis Hunter, and I've even got 2 leagues where I also have Brenton Strange and Travis Etienne. And I'm like, if the Jaguars win the Super Bowl, I'm going to be rich.
Yeah, no, it's a really good team to stack. Like you said, you can draft. Trevor Lawrence goes so late. So many of those guys go so late. Obviously, except for Brian Thomas Jr., he goes in like the 1-2 turn area. But you don't even need BTJ to have a good Jaguar stack. You can take Travis Hunter. You can take Brenton Strange. You can take one of the running backs. You can even throw in some Diami Brown at the end. Nobody's drafting Diami Brown. You can throw him in there. He's not
I love Diami Brown.
He's not going to be a steady Eddie. He's not going to be a steady Eddie, but he can give you some of those spike weeks 3 times, 4 times a year. He can give you 18 points.
I think he might be a steady Eddie.
No, I don't.
They keep him. They keep him in the slot. I think Diami Brown could
too many mouths to feed for Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, I don't believe.
What if the cake is huge?
Trevor Lawrence cannot sustain. He cannot propel this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. I think we're already pushing it with where we're drafting BTJ and Hunter. Never mind, a steady Eddie, Diami Brown. He can give you spike weeks for sure. I don't think we're going to get 3 usable pass catchers out of there. On
Trevor
top
Lawrence,
of
Super Bowl MVP.
Brenton Strange. It's too much. Too much. Too much. Too much.
All right. We're up against it. Let's you got anything else?
I don't think.
All right. Best of luck to everybody in your drafts. I know a lot of you have home league drafts coming up, or the league I care most about when you're in conversations. So good luck on those. With any luck, we put a couple things in perspective for you as far as the injuries and suspensions and stuff like that. Alex, why don't you tell us again where we can find all your stuff?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. This was a ton of fun. Glad we were finally able to make it work. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at @A_Johnson_FF. All my work is at yardsperfantasy.com. We got articles, rankings. We got our redraft trade calculator going to be updated here pretty soon for the season. Make sure you check out the projections template. And if you're doing a draft this week or you had a draft recently, you want us to analyze and kind of break it down, we do personalized podcasts where we talk about your fantasy league and your fantasy league only. We'll go through team by team, and we'll even roast you a little bit too. If your team sucks, we're going to tell you your team sucks. And if it's worth drooling over, we're going to drool over it too. But yeah, find everything at yardsperfantasy.com. Subscribe to Yards Per Fantasy on YouTube. That's where most of my content is these days.
Yeah, I was going to mention the personalized pods. That's one of the things that I occasionally do with Yards Per Fantasy as well, as much as I am able, because they're so much fun. So it's basically just your league gets a separate podcast for as long as it takes. We say it's an hour, but we all like to talk. And we also really like roasting people. So you get to jump in the chat with your league mates and chit chat and talk smack and whatever, while we're telling you, our picks for the best teams and the worst teams and what was this guy doing? So those are a lot of fun. So you can go to Yards Per Fantasy and find out how to get one of those for after your draft.
Let me say this for your audience. If anybody in this audience wants to DM me on Twitter or email me, team@yardsperfantasy.com, we'll give you some $10 off for a personalized podcast.
Promo code WHIP.
Hit us up.
And lastly, I'd be remiss if I did not mention that Alex and I will be continuing what we did last year, which was a start and sit show on Sunday before the games. What time do we go on, Alex?
Usually go like 12:20.
Okay. So we'll call it noon to be safe, but
yeah,
if we keep you waiting 5 minutes, tough. Get your questions ready. Get them into the chat, and we'll go back and grab them.
Yep.
But Alex has usually got his TikTok is going to, and our chat. I'm taking questions on Twitter, and we motor through it. Nobody doesn't get answered. You know what I mean? So if you're last minute,
some of them right.
What's that?
And we get a few of them right too.
Yeah, we get a couple of them right. So that will be every Sunday of the season, going right up until game time, and you can find that on the Yards Per Fantasy YouTube channel. And come hang out with me and Alex, man. Grab a cup of coffee or a beer if you're ready to get going, and find out who you should be playing. Just a reminder, everybody, please like the show. Please subscribe. Please find Alex on Twitter. Please find me at Buy and Sell You on Twitter. I will be with Colton from Football Guys on opening night, the 4th, starting in the second half. And then I will be on the Fantasy Sports Advice Network from the forum on Friday the 5th, roughly about the same time, about halftime of the KC and Chargers game. I think that's it. So thanks, everybody, for coming by. Best of luck in your drafts this weekend. Sorry. See you. Wouldn't want to be